Alrighty. Good. Am I got it right? Okay. Good afternoon. Hey Jan. Hey BL. Good to see you guys here. I was just reading something on my phone and I totally forgot. It's 3 o'clock. It was 3. So jumped on and quickly clicked go live. Hey Lydia. How are you doing? What about everyone else? If you are jumping on right now, drop a message, put it into the chat, whether you're on YouTube or on TradingView, let me know. Put it into the chat, say hi. And if you're new to the session, let me know where you're joining me from. We'll give it a couple of minutes before we get started. Hope you guys have been trading well. What about everyone else? I see a lot of you jumping on, but no one's saying hi. Say hi. Drop a message. Let me know. Are most of you watching on your phone or on your computer? And something really funny has just happened as well. I hope I can show it to you shortly. Hey Wayne, good to see you. All right, one more minute and we'll get started. Where are the regulars? I know Jen and BL are the perpetual regulars. Good to see you guys. Okay, let's get going. All right, so again, thank you all for attending the daily market analysis. What I do here on a daily basis, 3 p.m. GMT plus 8, we go through the fundamentals, what has happened. For yesterday, not much. The technicals, where price has moved to, has it broken the support level, tested a resistance level. This case, we did have a lot of movements yesterday and also early today. And then with that combined, we look at some possible trade setups with some possible stop loss levels, take profit levels. I'll put it into a summary sheet and then we can take it from there. Okay, so again, welcome. If you are regular, you know the drill. At any point in time, if you do have any questions, please feel free to put it into the chat. Whether it's on Facebook or not Facebook, TradingView or on YouTube, put it into the chat. Let me know. I'll be happy to elaborate, explain it a little bit more for you guys, just so that you're not just looking at levels and where to buy or where to sell. You're actually learning how to look at the charts, how to analyze it, possibly do it for yourself. Moving on. Hey Nick, how you doing? Did you guys like the session following on yesterday? Yesterday's part 2 of the session. For those of you who joined part 2 of the session, let me know if you found it useful. Okay, so while you're typing that up, let's do the quick disclaimer. Any information contained in this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. I do get through a lot of many different currency pairs and different possible setups. To the best that I can, I will put it in terms of what I think is a higher priority, what could move faster or take a bit longer. So with that, for yourself as well, please don't jump into all the trades. You will be over leveraged. You will be taking on too much risk. Remember, at any point in time, maximum risk exposure 2%, not more than that. All right. Why 2%? It's just so that in the worst case, if you hit a loss or you lose at 2%, it's easier to recover. Right? It's easier to recover. It's not something that's going to you have to size down too much, or you have to get over the emotions and psychology. Keep it to 2% at a maximum exposure. Right? And when I say that, everyone goes, all right, 2%, and they go the full on 2%. That's the maximum. You don't have to always do 2%. You can do 1%, right? Just to give yourself that buffer. And also remember that the contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. Please do your own due diligence before you do jump into any trade. Make sure it fits with your own trading strategy, your own trading method, right? I'm a big believer that it's not one trading strategy that will fit everybody. I've seen, I've been trading for that many years or many years now. I've taught people how to trade. I've seen other courses out there, and I really dislike when I see, someone saying this is one method that will make money. This is the only method that you should be trading. It's not going to work. Everyone has different risk profile. Everyone has different capital amounts, different time spent in front of the screen, different. You look at the charts and it just means something a little bit different to you as well. So you need to find a strategy that's going to be more suitable to what you're comfortable with. Okay, and that's also why I approach the markets this way. Through my experience of dealing with a lot of retail traders like yourselves, it's not one strategy. I just highlight the levels. We look for possible reaction to those levels based on the news, based on the way price is moving. So very general view, just so that you can also incorporate your own aspect to what I've been sharing with you guys. Okay. Hey, Robbie, how you doing? Good stuff. Very good to see that. Nick. Hey, Angel Case. Good to have you here. All right, good. So now that we've got most of you guys here, most of the regulars here, let's keep going. Again, I'm only going to do this twice, I promise. At the start, remember, if you do find good value, good information, and it's helpful and beneficial to your own trading, please remember, help me out. Click that little rocket ship button on the stream. Do make sure you follow me on TradingView. And if you are on YouTube, click like and click subscribe. I'm sure with the way the algorithm works, it's going to be beneficial somehow to help me build this community, this growing community. Hey, Kate Goosey, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everyone, wherever you're joining me from. Hey, George. Yeah, I was away on a secret mission for a week. So now we're back to this full on again. All right. So look at that. Refresh Forex Factory. I think this is probably a handful of times that I've seen Forex Factory totally go down, right? Completely down. It's been like that since 2:30, about 2:30, if I'm not wrong. I was just sitting here clicking refresh over and over. It's not working. Okay. So unfortunately, at this point, we don't have Forex Factory with us. What was the other one we're going to do? Investing. What's investing? Hey, Bill, how are you doing? Investing? No. Investing.com. Okay. Actually, TradingView has a. Let me try this. Where's the calendar? Where's the news on this? Oh, there we go. Table. You can see that I don't use this. I only use Forex Factory. There we go. Okay. Let's stick with TradingView then. Okay, so what you see here is that this is a completely different layout. I'm a bit new to this as well. Today we do have some news coming out here, but my main focus for today will be the Canadian CPI data. All right, for those of you who joined us yesterday on part 2 of the session, this might be a recap, but it's possibly also a bit of a update of what has happened, because price has moved on since we spoke about this yesterday evening. So right now, what we had is that, can I change this to yesterday? I can't scroll back to yesterday. Okay, so two things has happened. Okay, two things to pay attention to. 8:30. I hope this is GMT plus 8, but it's not. Okay, if I'm not wrong, it's at 9:30, 8:30, 9:30 time. Someone's asked for euro dollar. I'll get to that shortly. We do have the we do have the Canadians releasing their inflation data, right? Inflation data to be released. What happened the last time round? The Bank of Canada actually held interest rates at 4.5%. They decided, the most recent meeting, they decided not to increase interest rates for two reasons. One is they anticipate that the current inflation growth or rate of growth for inflation is slowing down. We've already seen it go from 6 point something to 5.9 the last time round, and now they're expecting it to go to 5.4. Right, this is inflation year on year, looking to go from 5.9 to 5.4. This is the indication that, hey, they're not at the target yet of 2%, but they look like they're on the pathway, and they're one of the earlier ones on the pathway towards that 2% target level. And that's why the Bank of Canada has actually taken that decision in the last meeting to hold interest rates at 4.5%. But they did actually say that they will raise rates again, or they will resume raising rates if the data or if inflation data signal that it wasn't slowing down. Okay, so for the news later tonight, 8:30 or 9:30 GMT plus 8, do remember that, yes, we are anticipating inflation to be at 5.4, possibly even 5.3. I would say it might be 5.3%. We are anticipating a slowdown. If it does slow down, then we might see some weakness on the Canadian dollar. Right? We might see some weakness on the Canadian dollar, because there's a slowdown in inflation growth is going to signal that, hey, the Bank of Canada can continue not raising rates, right? A lower rate or lower likelihood for rate increases. So that's going to lead to possibly some weakness in the Canadian dollar. But you can't rule out the fact that this could very well be, instead of 5.4, could be released at 5.5 or 5.6 or even a 6%, right? Very unlikely, but I think, we can't rule that out. If that happens, then the likelihood for the Bank of, it's back up again. Okay. I'm so uncomfortable with this one. Let me try. Yay, here we are. Okay. So 9:30, Forex Factory uses the median CPI and the trim CPI. This one has the CPI rate or the inflation rate year on year itself. So we can't rule out, a possible surprise there. Thanks for that, Wayne. All right. So with that, we're looking at possibly a breakout to the upside if inflation rate comes out as a surprise to be higher, increasing the likelihood of Bank of Canada increasing rates. We could see the Canadian dollar shoot up, right? Or shoot down. If rates continue low or inflation continues to slow down, then we could see the USCAD shoot up because of that weakness on the Canadian dollar. Okay, so that's the main thing to pay attention to for today. Nothing much else across in this afternoon. I was trading the Aussie, scalping it down a little bit. I had only a 20 pip move to the downside. Not really exciting there. I was really keen on the yen, but you can see that it's a bank holiday for Japan on observance of vernal equinox day. All right, so no idea what that is, but it's a bank holiday in Japan, and that's why we're seeing a little bit of a lower volatility this afternoon, early morning afternoon Singapore time. So the main thing we saw was the bigger moves on the Aussie and on the Kiwi dollar. Hey, M Leader, how are you doing? Good morning. Okay, so what else has happened last night? You can see, as we spoke about, is Forex Factory going to mess up on me? No big news last night. Come on, do something. Ah, it's back down again. Okay, it's still back down. I guess everyone was flooding back onto it. Okay, no big news last night with on terms of the news. We do have Lagarde speaking at the Euro area benchmark rates. Doesn't say too much. Okay, don't know why she's speaking there. And then not a lot of other news. And then on to tomorrow, we do have the UK with their inflation data. This is the pound with their inflation year on year, 10.1%, expected to go to 9.9. There has been considerations and thoughts that the UK inflation might stay at 10, so might be a bit of an upset at 10%, but we're still expecting onto Thursday. When I scroll through all that, onto Thursday, big news events, Fed with the US Feds with their interest rate decision, 25 basis point rate hike. The Swiss with their interest rate decision, and then the one that I'll be paying a lot of attention to is the Bank of England with their interest rate decision as well. Okay, so that's going to be quite a big news day on Thursday, so watch out for that. With that said, uneasy quietness while the banking crisis is not over. It is. Hey Jamil, how are you doing? It is BL, and that's what we were speaking about yesterday during the part 2 of the webinar. You know, it's a bit weird that markets are sitting right across, not doing too much. It looks like it's consolidating. You know, we're saying it's a calm before the storm. I think it's a combination. It's a combination of all the uncertainty, right, in the banking crisis, and then the governments or the central banks all coming to try and promise that deposits are safe. And then we have the FOMC with their interest rates decision to be released on Thursday morning, right? So put all that together, it just looks like it's all consolidating or compressing leading up to Thursday for potentially a big explosive move. All right. So with that, let's look at the charts because Forex Factory is still failing on me. I managed to clear out the lines and keep our summary sheet here. So today is the 21st of March. Okay. What you notice here is that I'll move this away for now. Yesterday, the dollar index did trade lower, like we were expecting. You know, to test the bearish trend line down to 103.50. So it broke below 103.50, slightly lower. Okay, so updating these lines. Sorry, my throat is going a bit nuts. All right. So 103.50 was a support level, now a resistance level. In fact, I wouldn't even label it as a resistance, right? I would say it's a support level. I would view this whole thing as within that support level, right? So it's inside that support area right now. So let's call this whole thing the support. All right. So it's just dropped since we spoke yesterday at 3 p.m. Right about there, it broke below that 103.50, consolidating within this range right now. So, you know, one thing I'm noting here is that the DXY is consolidating. But where could it head to? Naturally, I would say that we still do have this downward trend line applying that pressure to the downside, right? The downward trend line applying the pressure to the downside. You can see that it's gone up, tested that level, or looks like it's testing that area. We could see it push back down again. Okay, we could see it push back down again. So where could it get to? Zooming right out to the H4 time frame. Move that away for now. The next big support level, I would say, is at about this 102.60 level. Right, big support level there. We do have a bit of an interim level at 103 because it's a nice round number, right? You all know I like that round number effect. Okay, so back to, bring this over again. Gets a bit messy with this box around, okay? So that's the potential for the dollar index. I'm looking at it consolidating, downward pressure with the bearish trend line. If it does break below 103.27, then we could see it come down towards 103 and possibly towards 102.60. I think that if it does come to 103, there'll be a good achievement already. I don't think it's going to drop that much unless we get a big surprise from the market uncertainty with the banking crisis. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm just moving charts around. I'm just feeling a bit weird with this big box there. In terms of the upside, where can it, if it does push up, where could it rebound to? I would say that we're looking at this, apply the levels in there. I like this one here at 38.2. Okay, so take those away for now. And you can see here that 38.2 was right across. That would be a good resistance level. So consolidating within this support area, right? Consolidating within the support area, looking for it to break below 103.27 for that downside potential towards 103. I don't think you get to 102.60, but if it does break that trend line, break up, then it could get to 103.93. We'll look for some possible counter trend scenarios there. Okay, so I'll say down to 103. Consolidating, possible breakout down to 103. Does that make sense to you all for the dollar index? Okay, not a lot of news, not a lot of economic news on the dollar at this point in the lead up to the FOMC decision. So main thing now is possibly trend, possibly going to see in that consolidation with the main uncertainty coming from the banking crisis that we're seeing right now. Okay, if it's all good, put it into the chat. Let me know that it's good. If it's terrible, well, put it into the chat and let me know it's terrible as well. Okay, so that's the view, looking for that possible breakout to the downside on the dollar index. With that, I'll tell you this was a bit of a surprise, right? So this might have been a trade that would have caught us out because we did have a buy set up there thinking it's going to push up. It didn't. Despite the dollar weakening now, well, earlier, we saw today the Kiwi dollar dropping quite a lot. All right, so I'll zoom in a bit just to show you all. The dollar actually hasn't done too much. Since we spoke about this at 3, we saw dollar weakness, but it didn't move the Kiwi dollar too much. It didn't move the Kiwi dollar too much, but when Kiwi dollar dropped, you can see that it was only a relatively small move there on the dollar, pushing a little bit higher. Okay, so that's a bit interesting, a bit something I'm paying attention to. So I'll take that away. The main thing I can think of is that the Kiwi dollar has gone up, hit that big resistance level since we saw the 1st of March, hit that level, and then there's a technical retrace down, breaking below that 0.6247 support level as well. That's why we saw the big drop. Now, with that next support level there at 6150, right, 0.6150. The initial thought was that we could see this trade down, but I think that, looking at the way the dollar is retracing, hit that resistance level and possibly tracing back down, I wouldn't be looking to force any trades on the Kiwi dollar or on the Aussie dollar. I'll share that with you shortly. It has dropped. It looks like it's going to rebound back up. It's going to trade with no clear directions at this point, right? Why I put in this level here is I'm just noting this whole points, right? This points here. Price could come down, test this level, and bounce back up. I also note that there's a bit of an order block or something here, and that's why it's rebounding a little bit. I think that if you were looking to sell this down, for example, anticipating that downward move to continue, your take profit would be like 40 something pips, 50 pips, but your stop loss again would be a bit variable. Definitely not up there because it's 55 pips there. Not a great trade, and then I wouldn't want it anywhere in the middle. I can't think of anywhere to put my stop loss. So because of that, I would say that not a great missed the move. Not that it's not a great trade. It's already missed the move. This move to the downside early this morning was the move on the Kiwi dollar. Okay. So Kiwi, too late, no trade. Okay. We still see the dollar index pushing lower at this point, or looking like it's pushing lower at this point. And that's why we see the Kiwi dollar pushing up slightly now. Okay, any questions? Nope. Okay, good. Now to the Aussie, right? The Aussie fortunately didn't trigger, right? The Aussie buy trade that we're looking at didn't trigger, so take that away. It did break to the downside. What I did, let me just try and see my trade here. Okay, I did this at this time, 9 a.m. Got into the office, saw it breaking, saw it testing that level and breaking that 0.67 level. So it broke a nice round number. It was trading lower. I got in slightly after that. I had a 30 pip stop loss. Oops, where's my 30? 30 pip stop loss, just above those levels there. And then I had a 60 pip take profit. Right? I thought that it was going to have a big move because of that big downward push early on at 8 a.m. Right? So at 8 a.m. I thought, okay, big push to the downside. I was expecting the momentum to push it and continue trading lower. It broke. It sat there a while. And when it broke that trend line, I thought, great, this is going all the way. But up until 2 o'clock, it was at about 20 pips, and I closed out. I closed out at 20 pips there on the Aussie. One reason why was I was just on a many call, so I didn't want to focus on my trade, close out the thing. And then also that I saw that uncertainty and all these areas here, right? So I had this bodies of all that candle. I just thought it's come down there, doesn't look like it's going to push lower. I closed out the trade. It was too near that near-term support level as well. So I closed out my trade and super happy about that because it's rebounding back up now. Okay, so that was the Aussie trade. as much as we said that there was no trade on the Kiwi dollar because it's right in the middle of that support and that resistance level there, okay, risk reward will be terrible. Looking at the Aussie, the way it's moving, I'm looking for this to possibly come back in. We're expecting that trend line, and even if I did an update of that, you can see it's come down, tested this level, and pushed back up. A possible quick trade, especially if that dollar index continues to weaken, is that we could be looking for, where am I? This. Okay, similar to what we've been seeing, is that it breaks above 0.67. Quick trade, 20 something pips to the upside, 20 something pips on a stop loss, a 1:1, just within that range, right? You can see that since Monday, well, yesterday, tested at level, came down, bounced, went back up, tested level. Now we're looking for this to possibly push back up again, right? Very small trade, not a must kind of trade. This is really if you want to sit there and try and scalp it a little bit, it could be a possibility. It's right on the 200 EMA line. Yes, I would believe so. Where am I? Sure. Which one am I going to use? Put that one in. That's a 200 there. Okay, that's a 200 there. It's just right, hit that level. 200, what's that called? 200 together with the trend line to the upside. That's why we saw that bounce. Okay, so good spot there, Bill. Bill, thanks for that. So now we're looking for this. So Aussie dollar buy above 0.6705. Well, buy above 0.67. Right, stop loss about 20. Take profit about 20 as well. About quite a small trade, and we say that's a small trade. Right? You can see I'm not super excited about that trade happening. All right, so that's the Aussie done. Not something that you should rush into at this point. The next one was the yen, right? Yen, I was doing the session and I was like, oh, I want to sell this down. I did that one trade down. I was looking for it to break. I was super excited and super frustrated that I thought I was missing on this trade, but it didn't trigger. Went very close to, or tried to break that 130.63 level, failed to break and bounced back up, right? And bounced back up. Right now, still trading along this resistance level of 131.60 or 131.70, trading within that level. Remember, the Japan is on a bank holiday. Volatility might be a bit lower. This was pushing up because of the dollar pushing up, but then now dollar looks like it's retracing back down within that support area. So it's going to be a bit choppy on the yen, on the US yen in particular. So, and also now that I've got that, right, along that, let me see if I can fit this on that as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so what we're looking at here on the US yen, big downward trend line, still applying that pressure. Look for it to go up, test that level, and turn back down, right? Test the level and turn back down. I'll be looking for this as a similar trade to what I did yesterday afternoon, especially if the dollar continues to weaken. Then we'll be looking for it to turn down from 131.63. So I'd say 131.50. Could do an 80 pip, almost an 80 pip take profit. 40 pips stop loss, 1:2 risk reward ratio to the downside. What I'm looking for, if I zoom in a bit just to show you guys, is I'm looking for it to possibly do that and test, break to the downside, and then after that, trade down. Okay. Alrighty. All good on the US yen. Looking for it to break 131.50 with a stop loss of 40 pips and a TP of 80 pips. 131.50? 131.50, yes, correct. All right. Okay, good stuff. All right. So that's US yen. Now for I can't pronounce your nickname, who's asked for the euro dollar. All right, let's look at the euro dollar. Euro dollar did almost what I expected. I drew it just a little bit offline, but we're looking for it to come down, test this level at 1.0625, that 38.2 level. It dropped right there, and then after that, we expected it to bounce back up. It actually shot up to trigger the trade, right? To trigger the trade, anticipating that upside move. So let me just take this away for now. All right, and update this line for you guys. Okay, so we see it test us here once, twice, 3 times, and then now we have this 1.07 as a good, strong support level, right? A good, strong support level there. Nice round number. If you did get into that trade because of what we talked about before, then you're done, you're settled, have your stop loss there, be ready. But if not, then I would say that I wouldn't get in now if you haven't already. To be extra safe, you'll be looking for it to break above 1.0727 or 1.0730. Right? If it does break above that point, then we could see an upward push. But you can also see that the near-term resistance at 1.0760 is very near. So if you did buy, let's say you bought at that point, take profit about 30 pips, stop loss 30 pips, again a 1:1. Not a fantastic setup at that. With this choppy, a bit of consolidative price action. So I do think that it's going to trade higher, right? I do think that it's going to trade higher, but I wouldn't do it on H1, maybe on M15, maybe on a smaller time frame, or just be ready to take on as a smaller trade. Looking at this, we do have that resistance at 1.08, but there's no big news, no big reason that we could see price push that strongly to the upside. Is it working yet? Okay. At 7 p.m., we do have the German ZEW economic sentiment. Would have a little bit of impact, but not big, not sustained impact. And also, it was 28.1, they're expecting 14.9. So not expecting a big move as well, or not expecting a positive move on the German economic sentiment, which could see the euro dollar, retrace back down a little bit. So just be a bit more careful on the euro dollar. All right. You can see I'm not suggesting a lot of trades right now, just because everything is really in that consolidation, possible breakout potential, but it's just not ready yet. So euro dollar likely to go up, but not great RR trade. Okay. Does anyone have a trade that you guys are in right now? I want to know what trades are you guys doing, right? If you are in a trade, If you're looking at something or you have a trade that you entered, do share it with me, let me know. Then the next one was pound dollar. I like how it works out, how trades work out like that. I did actually get into this trade, right? I did get into this trade late last night, or in the evening time, 8 p.m., right? I had my order at 1.22, just above that. I had it about 1.2235. Yeah, 1.2235. And then I looked for it. I was hoping for a big push towards 1.24. Didn't happen. It went towards that 1.2270 level, and I closed out. So that was my quick trade there on the pound dollar. Just something I got in very quickly and then just got out. .com sold. Oh, M leader entered pound yen. Just entered. Okay, we'll have a look at that. Sold eurodollar.com, so eurodollar. JNB took a scalp on euro yesterday, but got out. Good. That was a good scalp. I'll say that will be a good scalp. BL just closed pound dollar, already closed. Very good. I hope that was that trade, that same trade that I got into BL. And Peter got into Kiwi yen buy at 81.75. We'll look at that as well. Okay, so we'll get through the ones that you guys shared with me. So thanks for sharing, and we'll get through those as well. So pound dollar now pushed up and then looks like it's retracing back down. Right now you can see that the last time it got to this point, we saw a big retrace. Right? We saw a big retrace. Just remember that not today, but tomorrow we do have the UK CPI data year on year. Was 10.1, expected 9.9. There is talks at a 10% level, anticipating a dovish move on the pound, but the main big one will be the interest rate decision, 25 basis point rate hike. Yeah, 25 basis point rate hike to come, right? Could this be a dovish rate hike? The question now on everyone's mind is, could this be a dovish rate hike? What we mean by a dovish rate hike is that could this be increase by 25 basis point and that's it, right? And then we could see the pound dollar drop. So I'll update you on the pound dollar tomorrow once we get a bit more clarity on the price action. Nick, do you scalp the US Swiss franc to the downside or to the upside? Let's see whether you're in line with Angel Case. I hope you guys did the same trade. That'd be fantastic. Bill said, is there a support at 1.22? Yes, there is, Bill. 1.22 is a big support level. Nice round number. Big support level. And that's why when it broke, it was a resistance before. But once it broke, we saw that big push to the upside. Good one, Nick. Good one, Angel Case. Right, we saw that big push to the upside. What could happen here now on the pound dollar is possibly this going to come back down again, test that level, and then bounce back up. Right, the main thing, the focus, again, possibly no trade now, but the focus is on what happens here. Right, what happens at that support level? I think it's going to come down, but what happens at this support level? Because if it does break, then we're going to see it break a big, strong, round number support level. That trend line, we might see a big push to the downside. Looking at this, we could see it come as low as possibly even 121. Might see it break 122, 1.22 to get to 1.21. That's 61.8 level. Yeah, so that's what I'll be looking at. If it does break below, then we could see it come down towards 1.21 as a support level there. It's a round number and a support level. Main thing is what happens at 1.22. Okay, good. All clear. Someone said something. Yeah, BL closed his pound dollar already. Also got into Kiwi scalp too early and got stopped. Kiwi scalp was going down. Hope you sold it. Could have made good trade to the downside. Okay, one more thing I want to share with you all is you see here that it's actually getting quite interesting. So, I have my screen right across here. I've got all my MT4, I would have all my charts open. And I tend to look at this and I go, look, the dollar index was trading down, now retraced a little bit, but it's still showing some bearish potential. But yet, on a pound dollar, we're seeing it trading lower. It's trading as if there's dollar strength, right? And if we look at the Kiwi dollar, it's trading the dollar weakness. The Aussie is trading pushing up. So, and then this is trading as if there's dollar strength. The yen is trading slightly higher as if there's dollar strength. So when I look at that, it makes me really uncomfortable because there is no correlation, right? There's no correlation. Looking at the way the dollar is moving, it should apply right across the board, but there's no correlation. We're seeing Aussie and Kiwi early morning shooting big numbers to the downside, now retracing. Pound and yen in this case trading as if there's dollar strength. So that when there's no correlation, just be extra careful, right? Just be extra careful. Do flip through the charts, try and see what all the other pairs are doing. Okay, so don't just focus on that one technical aspect. Maybe I should do a session on correlation. I think that'd be really important. I'm on buy trade on the US yen 5-minute time frame. Okay, if you're buying the US yen, just be careful. I do think that there could be upside potential, but 132 would probably be the max. We're at 131.70 now. 132 might be the max. So just be careful with that. All right, Jamil. All right, so we've done pound. I'm looking for it to retrace down towards 1.22 and see what happens there. So let's update this. Likely to retrace down to 1.22. It's the decision on Thursday. Right, and also, as we looked at the euro, right, euro is trading as if there's dollar weakness. So it's all pointing, every chart is pointing all different directions despite not having news and no clear directions. Dollar index is sitting in a consolidation. I'll be extra careful there. Okay, you guys were scalping the Swiss franc down. Great, fantastic, making money. Again, Swiss franc highly dependent on the dollar index especially. This, when it was moving right across, this afternoon when I was looking at this sitting right across, I was hoping for it to break to the downside. Right, so I'll change this to support level. I was seeing it trade right across. I was anticipating that we could see something similar like what we saw yesterday, resisting that 0.9290 to trade down, but it shot up, right? Because we know that the dollar shot up. But right now, as the dollar index is pushing back down, then we're looking at this pushing lower, right? For those of you who's not Nick and Angel Case, and you didn't get into the US Swiss franc selling down, don't worry. I hate it when people say don't worry, but don't worry. The opportunity, what I'll be looking for is if it breaks below that 0.9290 level, to be extra safe, I would say that maybe even 0.9280, stop loss about 20 pips. I want to keep this very tight because it's in that range. And then take profit about that 40 pips just near that bottom there. So 1:2 towards the downside. Now I'll zoom out and squeeze this down a bit. You can see that it's really right in that range, right? So it's within that range, and I'm a trend following trader. I like it when it's trending, when it's ranging right across. I just go do a lot of other things rather than try to force out trades. So what I'll be looking for here is if it breaks below this support level now, 0.9280, 20 to 40. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, I don't have my... Okay. So do you, in your case, and Nick, what do you think? Not scalping it down, but a slightly longer term trade to the downside for the US Swiss franc? We're looking at 9280, 2040. Okay. So below 0.9280, stop loss 20, TP 40. You're most welcome there, Jamil. All right, so, and then the next one I want to do before we get into the others is, what's this happening? It's all pushing up, it's still pushing up. That's showing now a bit of a weakness, so it's turning to where we think it should go. Pound dollar is sitting right across, should be pushing up. Euro dollar is pushing higher, Swiss franc is still turning down, so it's a little bit better correlation right now, and the US CAD. All right, so let me just clear this out for now. I actually just did an analysis on the US CAD for tonight's session, for tonight's trading. Right, I looked at it on the H4 time frame, and I was looking at this to the downside. No, there. Okay, I was looking at that to the downside, and then I was looking at that. So I was saying that that looks like a bit of a triangle with both the upside and downside potential breakout, because we don't know what the CPI data is going to be. So I want to have my bases covered. And then I have a support level here at about 1.3650, tested here, tested in this areas here. So I would be only looking to sell the US CAD if, right, so the US CAD, so CAD strengthening. If we see an upset, possible upset on the CPI data with the near-term support level at 1.3555. Okay, so we could be looking for short about that point, stop loss about 30 pips, take profit about 60, 70 pips to the downside. Okay, so this is, looks like you, the trader keep you glued. Which one was that in your case? Which trade was that? The US Swiss franc would definitely keep me glued to it, and it's not doing too much right now. Okay, so CAD could break down. This is, we're talking about this if we're looking at a possible stronger CPI. Right, put that away. You could look at this pushing down. Stronger CPI leading to further rate increases, potentially further rate increases. You could see this trade lower, and then with a big resistance here at 1.38 on the near-term high. All right, I do know that there's a almost 1.3850 here, but let's say 1.38. I did have, I'm just trying to replicate my analysis. All right. So we're looking at that 1.3850 as a resistance level, or 60. For that move, I'm looking at 61. Was it 61? Let's see. 50%? No, it's 50. All right, so I'm looking for this to break towards the upside We could even go for 38, I think. Yeah, 38 would be better. So we could look for this to break up. If we do see that weak CPI data breaks above that 1.37 level, wait for a bit of a confirmation, looking for that trade up. First move will be 90 pips to the upside. Stop loss, I would say just below that point because of that trend line. So I'll put it along that trend line, about 30 pips. So it's a 1:3 risk reward ratio to the upside there on the USCAD. Yeah, US Swiss franc would be a small move. That's why I'm not super keen on this 20 pip kind of trades. Okay, so that's on a weaker, slow CPI data. Here we can see that. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm looking at on the USCAD, trading within that triangle, looking for that breakout to the upside. If we see a slow CPI data, see a stronger CPI potentially leading to further rate increases, then we're going to see the USCAD push down towards that 1.3555 level. All right. I don't know what to write here for this. It's just too much to write. The USD said, watch the video. Upside and downside potential. Okay. Good. I'm surprised no one has asked about gold yet. Normally, gold would be the first question that everybody asks. So gold shot up, broke above that. Wait, there we go. Shot up, broke above the 2000 level, went as high as almost 2009.65, and then retraced back down. Right, retracing back down. Near-term support, very near-term support, is at 1965.60. I wouldn't be looking to sell gold down. Gold seems to be stuck in a range. It's a very small range. This is a very small range in the scheme of things. Especially after it's broken, it's just retraced and stuck in that range. And you can see again, right? Look at dollar consolidating, no clear direction, but yet we're looking at gold trading, breaking lower. Or that miscorrelation, I don't know if that's a word, but miscorrelation is just really making it super uncertain for me. Right? You guys can probably sense it that I'm not super happy with all the trades for today, the possible setups for today. Gold enjoyed its glory at 2000. I think it needs some rest before going higher. It could, but I would say don't try and take advantage of gold while it's resting to the downside. All right, don't take advantage of the resting gold. Why? It's because it's been pushing up. Well, it's been pushing up for a very long time, and I like that. I like that move that helped me. This Friday move here helped me for my phase 2, passing my phase 2. So I'm super happy with this move here. All right, and just as a bit of a reminiscence, I think this move helped me with my phase 1. Trading gold down helped me on my phase 1, and then trading gold up helped me on my phase 2. Okay, with the way it's moving right now, why I say don't take advantage of it, I'm looking for it. Is it going to test this 1965.50 level? Support level there, resistance level here. Could come down, test, and rebound. Right? Could come down, test, and rebound. Even if it doesn't, I'll be looking for buying opportunities instead of trying to sell it down. right? So I'll be looking at that, and this coincides with that 38.2 fib level as well. So all that put together, I think that we could see it come down here and then push back up, right? So about there, 1964, we could be looking at a potential buying opportunity. Look for it to bounce off about 1960, 1968, 1969. Then we can be looking at a retest of 2000 again. All right, so I'm looking for this move. Right, also because we're anticipating that dollar weakness to come into place, that breakout to the downside, so that could see gold push back up again. Gold forming a possible head and shoulder pattern on H1 could break to 1931. Peter says, yes, there is a, this is also the neckline, well, no, this is the neckline for that shoulder, head, and a bit of a big padded shoulder there with the neckline right there. Well, I'm pleased that I managed to draw a straight line. Okay, so yes, but with that neckline there, and also with the horizontal support and the fib level there, I would say give it a bit more space. Look for it to break and clear below this point before, if you're looking to sell it down, clear all that before you look to sell it down. But I will still be looking for a bounce and upside move. Rest for the day. Yes, that would be a very good suggestion and idea, I would say. I had my 20 pips on Aussie. I'm not going to rush and jump into any crazy trades right now. Okay, so that's gold. Looking for a retest of support. Look for buying potential. Yeah, I don't have the levels there for you guys. Alrighty. So now M leader sold yen, pound yen. We looked at all the others as well, and okay, let's look at pound yen. That was, can't remember when we did that. That was a while ago, or yesterday. So it didn't bounce as low as we thought, but it did push up. So that's okay. Take that away. Selling pound yen. Did you sell pound yen? Entered pound yen mini. M leader, did you sell or buy pound yen? I would say that I'll be super uncomfortable. I'll be looking for it to get to that 162 level, looking for it to push towards 162 and possibly turn down. I sold close at 7 pips loss. Well, better 7 pips loss than a big 70 pip loss, as it could get to 162. All right, so I do think that it could get to 162. Then we'll possibly think about selling it back down if the pound doesn't do too much and the yen drags prices lower. Okay. Good. Okay, answers your question there on the pound yen. Next one was Aussie CAD. Do I have Aussie CAD here? No. Okay. Aussie CAD. MD that has green thumbs. Okay, Aussie CAD here. Let's see what's happening. All right, for sure we know that there's a big resistance there. And I like a bit of a, I don't think this trend line would work. Maybe. Could come down, test this level. And then there's just a lot of tails and wicks, right? And the reason why, when you look at Aussie CAD, looking at the Aussie, hasn't got that, it's got that big push to the downside. In fact, what I'll tell Kegusi is that probably be very careful with Aussie CAD, especially with the Canadian news to be released tonight. Okay, with the Canadian news to be released tonight, if I took that away, we might see a similar setup to what we saw on the Canadian dollar. Look at that. A very similar setup to what we saw on the USCAD, the loonie. So both the upside and downside potential. In this case, I think more likely to the downside. More likely to the downside, I would say that a support level. I would say support level at 0.9. 0.9080, but I would say to be safer, about 9.1. Yeah, 0.91 would be a good support level here. All right, so there you go. Okay, same thing like how we looked at the US CAD. If it does break lower, see, and the thing is with all the tails, I just can't find a nice level for you guys. I would say that about 9135, just because of those points there. So below 9135, tight stop loss about 15 pips. Take profit about 30 to the downside. If it doesn't break down, looks like it's doing that already. If it breaks to the upside, then about there, 9173.75. Take profit about 30-40 pips. Stop loss again below that point about 15 pips. So Aussie CAD, very similar to the way the CAD, US CAD is performing. Okay, gold broke down. Yes, Peter pushed strongly to the 38.2 level. Yeah, if you're looking to sell, wait for it to close below that point before looking to sell down. If not, then I'm still looking for the upward move. And the worst case, it could come down towards 1933, like you were saying before, 1937. I think it could come down towards 1933 and then bounce back up. So I'll sit out, I'll wait for it. I'll be looking to either buy if it rebounds from here, or buy if it rebounds up from 1933. Okay, and you can see it's just weird. Dollar index dropping, but gold dropping as well. Dollar index dropping, Aussie pushing back up a little bit. That's right. But it's actually not pushing back up. It's not pushing as much as we expect, given that dollar index is dropping. So just be extra careful, guys. Kiwi is dropping despite dollar index dropping. And now the pound and the euro is pushing up. So the correlations are all a bit off today. Euro is possibly going to go up towards that 1.0760 level, like we were looking at there. Likely to go up to 1.7 up to 1.0760 level. Not great RR. Alrighty. So again, remember, we don't have a lot of big news today. We've got more big news coming up for this week. I think the market seems to be taking a bit of a breather, just trying to figure things out, see where prices are going to be heading towards. So just be extra careful. Don't try and force a trade if you don't, even if you have to, even if you feel like you have to force a trade, don't force it. It's just really not doing too much. I think that, it's possibly, like we've been saying so many times already, it's a calm before the storm. We have Canadian CPI data later today. We have the UK CPI tomorrow. And then we have the big news on Thursday with the FOMC, SMB, and the pound rates as well. Okay, so again, I look forward to your feedback, guys. Put it into the chat. Let me know if you found this session to be useful, informative, helpful with what you're doing. If there's anything I can do better for you guys, do let me know. I'll incorporate that into the sessions as well. And if you haven't already, do help me out. Click that little rocket ship button and also the like and subscribe button on YouTube. With that said, do remember, trade well, trade safe, and I'll see you again tomorrow, 3 p.m., same time, same place. Take care now. Bye bye.